Yeah, resounding victory for England in New Zealand. Brilliant performance. All made all the better, really, coming from a bit of a miserable time in Pakistan. And new stars, maybe, in Bryden Carson, Jacob Bethel, and one man who was watching it keenly, David Bumble LLoyd, who joins us this morning. David, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, chaps. A powerful victory. 2-0, three-match series, job done.
David, a lot of people won't be that familiar with a bowler like Bryden Carson. He's been around, he's 29, he's played one days, but he only just made his test debut in October. Had you been keeping an eye on him? Did you expect him to develop this way?
Yeah, absolutely. He's exactly what you want in Test match cricket. He's very tall, he gets bounce, he's got good pace. Yeah, he's been around quite a while, but in cricket-wise, he's had injuries which have just curtailed his development, and he's missed out a little bit up at Durham. And so what they've done, selectors have looked for, what do we need? We need tall, we need fast, we need hit the deck bowlers, and he fits the bill.
And of course, comes in at a time when Jimmy Anderson had retired and probably wasn't too pleased about it, fancied his chances of going on a bit longer. It shows that there was a bit of strength in depth waiting to take over from him.
Yeah, but again, the Carson is a totally different bowler than Anderson. Atkinson has come into England's team, and he's more like Jimmy Anderson. Steady, close to the umpire when he delivers, deadly accurate and quick enough. Carson is that different sort of bowler, like Jofra Archer, tall, hit the pitch. Test match cricket, that's the type of bowler that you need. You look at Australia, you look at India with Bumrah, that's the type of bowler, tall, hit the pitch hard with good pace.
And what about young Bethel, who certainly grabbed his chance, hasn't he, at the age of 21? Wasn't really expected to feature that much, was he?
No, he was a backup batsman, and he gets an opportunity. They shove him in at 3. He's had, I think he's got 5 50s in first-class cricket. But again, he was earmarked some time ago that he's going to be an all-purpose cricketer. He's going to be a white ball cricketer and a red ball cricketer. You know, I like that idea of put your money where your mouth is. If you identify a player, get him in and put him into a decent position that he finds out very quickly what it's all about. And again, early days, but Bethel has done really well.
David, just on Bryden Carson, going back to him, that catch was remarkable on Tom Latham.
But again, I think in Test match cricket, and he said the same, and Bethel has said this, they raise the grade. There's something about it that it just brings the best out of you. There's a real commitment. And Jimmy Anderson's been mentioned in our conversation here. If you've got Jimmy Anderson around that dressing room, he will tell you that Test cricket is the pinnacle. It's no nonsense. You've got to have your A game. And I think in any sport that you get to the elite level and it brings something else out of you.
But we didn't have our A game really in Pakistan, and now we seem to have found it again in New Zealand when they're sort of back-to-back Test series. Is it just that New Zealand are a bit easier to deal with?
Well, New Zealand have just beaten India in India 3-0,
there you go,
which was a stunning victory, a stunning performance. Having been to New Zealand and being English, I get it, because it's a very comfortable place. It's a beautiful place, a wonderful country. The people are nice. There's no hostility. So when England go to Pakistan and go to India, the spectators, it's the be-all and end-all for them. And you need a little bit of a siege mentality because they're at you all the time. It's different in New Zealand. Everybody's very welcoming and very nice and very friendly. And I think England respond to that, and they're comfortable in that sort of environment.
How do you feel about the fact we play Test series back-to-back that quickly? It seems to me there's no time for recovery. Oh, OK, England have done very well, but it's quite intense, isn't it, the schedule?
Well, it's like a runaway train with all the white ball cricket as well. And, you know, there's a real conversation to be had. Do we need 5-day Test matches? You know, that is a conversation, because we've had 5-day Test matches because in the past, the game went along. I won't say it dawdled along, but it went along at 2.2 and over runs. Now it's increased to 4 and over. And so, the response might be, do we need 5-day test matches? There'll be a responsibility in the players to quicken the game up a bit, but you'll notice that this match has finished in 3 days. Australia-India has finished in 3 days. And so there might be a window to say, well, increase the number of overs per day if that's possible. That's down to the players, and make it 4-day test matches.
Just, David, just on Joe Root, 600s for the year. Have you seen, as he's got older, have you seen a change in his game? Is he a different player without the captaincy?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Without the captaincy, I think he took too much on as captain, and he probably didn't get full support from the backroom staff as well. And now at number 4, he is your gun player. He is your world-class player, and he's just allowed to go out and bat. I don't think he's got a care in the world, but again, on Joe Root, he's got a great lifestyle. He's got a great ambition and determination, and he's going to be around for another 4 years at least. And he's got a pride to play Test match cricket, which is important.
Now, David, as Henry always says on here, everything comes back around to football, and you must be even more excited than England beating New Zealand by the FA Cup draw, because you're a proud Accrington Stanley man, and they've got Liverpool away. Have you got your tickets?
I haven't, no, but I've been asked so many times, and I've flipped it the other way. I've said, what have we done to deserve this? Grimsby have just beaten us 5-2. We lost at home yesterday 2-1 to Bromley, and all the talk is about Liverpool. Get your feet back on the ground. Let's think about League Two before we even start about Liverpool. And if somebody can tell that Mo Salah that the game is in February, not in January, that we'll be very happy about that.
Dave, is that right? You used to carry a brick to the ground to stand on so you could see over the barriers at Peel Park?
That's dead right. That's at Peel Park at the old ground, Henry. So you went through a turnstile as a kiddie, and the bricks were piled up there because the barriers, if you're just a kiddie, you couldn't see over the barrier. And so you'd take a brick in, stand on the brick, and then you could see over the barrier. The other thing, there were no advertising boards around the ground. So sometimes your dad would lift you over the wall and you'd sit behind the goals, immediately behind the goals.
Did your auntie used to run a sort of hostel or digs which some of the Stanley players played at? Did you get to meet many of them?
All of them. I knew every one of them. Every one of them used to go past our house with the boots under their arm up to the ground. Yeah, my auntie was the housekeeper of the lodgings where they all stayed. They were great times, absolutely fabulous times. And I went to the school. I went to Peel Park School, which is right next to the Peel Park Stadium.
But you're actually a bit fearful of this Liverpool game, obviously.
Well, yeah. But wouldn't you be?
Yeah, yeah. I think you've got good reason to be worried.
At the minute, now we're playing Liverpool. I tell you what, we'll get a Bobby 2 for it.
You will, and quite right too. One of Henry's campaigns, that for the lower league clubs, it's the perfect one, and for Accrington, as you say, it's going to be vital to the club's future.
I mean, what a wonderful tournament, the FA Cup, when you can get a draw like that. And Harrogate, I live up near Harrogate now, and Harrogate play Leeds United versus Harrogate. It's fabulous.
Did you play in the FA Cup, David?
I think I did. I mean, the memory just plays tricks. But when I played for Stanley just after they went out of the league, and I just have it in my mind that we played against New Brighton. I think we played New Brighton in an FA Cup match. Might be wrong.
We'll have to try and look it up, see if we can find out for next week. Anyway, I'm sure you've got the connections that are going to get you tickets for the journey of trepidation to Anfield.
Just don't take a brick with you this time.
Yes. Best of luck, David, for that. We may talk to you before.
I brought me brick with me. Can I come in?
David, pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for that. This is Sunday Edition on talkSPORT.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.